praise the Lord. How you doing this evening, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Whoop and Company, streaming live from my wife's business office. So thank you for tuning in. I know it's been about 3 weeks since my last video. Thank y'all for those who's been checking on me and wondering how the channel's going. I've put a link in the description for those who want to tune in and just join me live on stream. We can discuss everything sports when it comes to college football, high school football, and even some World Series baseball. So anything sports here, it's gonna be on this channel. So welcome back to another episode of Whoop and Company. I am yours truly, Mr. Whoop himself, and we're here with another. It's fall sports time. We got the playoff push for both for high school football coming down to the wire towards the season end, and it's a lot to go over. Playoffs around the corner for the next 2 weeks, so season winding down. So a lot of teams making that final playoff push, not only for seeding but just to make it to the field to say they made the playoffs. And a lot have went down last night in the world of high school football sports in the state of Florida, and I'm here to bring it to you. Let's go over a few games that's not in the local area, that's down south. First one, a main rivalry down in South Florida. The Miami Edison Red Raiders versus the New Orleans Vikings. And it's the Red Raiders of Miami Edison knocking off the Vikings 56-7. Big congratulations to the Red Raiders, not their inner city rival, the New Orleans Vikings. Down there in Polk County, the rivalry of the season between two teams, Kathleen and Lakeland meet once again in the Fall Classic, and this time the Dread. Shout out to my friend Sean, he's a Dreadnought graduate. His Dreadnoughts took care of business against Kathleen 41-14. Congratulations to Lakeland with a big win Friday night against their hated rival, the Kathleen Red Devils. In Central Florida, it's Fort White taking on Interlochen. Fort White needing a win to stay pace in a playoff push in 1A. They get a big defensive victory, 14-7 over Interlochen. Congratulations to Fort White as they're trying to make their push in the 1A playoffs. They get a huge win on the road, 14-7 over the Rams. In Tallahassee, Florida, battle of two schools that really like each other. It's the Childs Timberwolves traveling to take on the Leon Lions, and it's Childs making a trip across the city to defeat the Leon Lions 28-14. Childs with a big win, 28-14 over the Leon Lions. In Duval County, it's Barton Trail hosting the Sandalwood Saints, and it's the Barton Trail Bears beginning a big victory over the Saints of Sandalwood, 50-35. Huge explosion, 85 points combined between the two teams, but it's Barton Trail pulling away by 2 touchdowns. Big win for the Bears. Down there on the other side of Jacksonville, Yulee, despite a lot of controversy going on with the school that you not heard of, there's a lot of racial activity going on in Yulee this past week. Few students at Yulee was caught on video representing the KKK, putting some white bags on their heads and representing the KKK. They was not suspended, but the 2 African American students that dealt with those 2 guys was indeed suspended. So a lot of turmoil going on at the school, but there was football needing to play, and Yulee took the field against Trinity Catholic of Ocala, the Trinity Catholic Celtics, traveling across the way to take on the Yulee Hornets, and Trinity Catholic making a long trip to Duval County gets a huge win. Well, Nassau County. Huge win for Trinity Catholic, 35-7. The Celtics marching on to next week. IMG Academy, the Ascenders of IMG Academy, making a trip to Auburn, Alabama to take on the Tigers of Auburn. And IMG, once again, do IMG does. They take care of business, 27-17 over the Tigers of Auburn. In Bradford County, a huge game for both teams when it comes to playoff seeding. Bradford needing a big win tonight to keep pace in the playoffs for 1A. Madison County trying to get a higher seed to get hopefully a first round bye. Madison with a huge win on the road against Stark, 32-21. Madison pushing, keeping their eyes hopeful alive for hopefully a first round bye. Stark struggling to the end. Hopefully they can turn around and hopefully make the playoffs for Coach Brian Thomason. Eastside and Santa Fe battle of 2 struggling schools in Alachua County. Santa Fe cut off a tough loss last week against Union County, losing 49-14. Eastside last week cut off a huge win, their first win of the year against Palaca. And today, these 2 teams met in Alachua, Florida, and the Eastside Rams back-to-back wins for the first time this year. Take down the Santa Fe Red Raiders 39-35. Eastside a huge win tonight. Last night, knocking off the rival Santa Fe Raiders. Eastside goes down to 2-6, I believe, and Santa Fe now goes to 0-9 over the year. Hopefully, they can turn around a final game of the season next week. Bartow George Jenkins down there in Polk County, and it's the Bartow Yellow Jackets 44-7 over George Jenkins. Big win for the Yellow Jackets. Down in Suwannee County, it's Baker County making a trip from McLennan to Live Oak to take on the Suwannee Bulldogs. Bulldogs have been struggling as of late, losers of 3 straight, and they're losing with to continue as the Wildcats of Baker County knock off the Suwannee Bulldogs 42-21. Big win for Baker County as they push for the 5A playoffs. Tough loss for Suwannee as they've now lost 3 of the last 4 games. Rickards making a trip to the pen in Fort Walton Beach, taking on the Chattahoochee Indians, and Rickards surviving a late rally by Chattahoochee 34-28. Rickards a big win on the road in Fort Walton Beach. In Port St. Joe, another 1A clash between two teams from the inland counties out to the Panhandle. And this time, the Lafayette Hornets make the trip to the Panhandle and take on the Port St. Joe Tiger Sharks. And the Tiger Sharks eke down a 21-20 victory, sending Lafayette back home with a disappointing loss. Coming off a loss last week against the Buchholz Bobcats, Bowles trying to turn it back around at home against the True Prep Saints from Hialeah, Florida. And the True Prep Saints leaving Jacksonville with a 20-16 victory. A tough back-to-back losses now for the Bowles Bulldogs. Let's go to some teams around the area. Hamilton County, tough year for the Trojans once again. They take on a team from the pen on the Sneeze Pirates, and the Pirates buck on to a 48-6 blowout over the Hamilton County Trojans. Hamilton County never had a chance in this football game, and they have been struggling all year long. They fall out of 2-7 on the season. Hilliard, one of the 4 unbeaten teams in Class 1, they host the Blountstown Tigers in a very highly contested matchup, and Hilliard suffers their first loss of the year in emphatic fashion. They fall 52-22, their first loss of the year. This hurts Hilliard going forward. This could cost them a first-round bye in the 1A playoffs. And with Union County winning tonight also against Newberry, we'll get to that game in a little bit, Union County is on the verge of getting a first-round bye after the Hilliard loss. We'll go down to some more 1A action. The Holmes County Blue Devils travel to Chiefland and take on another 1A undefeated team. In the Chiefland Indians win 41-6. Chiefland continue to make their statement for hopefully a first round bye in the Class 1A playoffs in the state of Florida. Buchholz coming off their biggest win of the year, knocking off the Bowles Bulldogs in start last week. And they take on the Ocala Forest team who got drugged down last week by the hands of the number 1 team in Class 1 in the Hawthorne Hornets. Buchholz does the same, but in way more convincing fashion. Buchholz knock off Ocala Forest 75-7, the most points scored by any team in this area this year. Ocala Forest falls huge 75-7 to the Buchholz Bobcats. Congratulations to them. Middleburg traveling to Ridgeview to take on a rival Panthers, and Ridgeview falls short at home 42-14. The Middleburg Broncos come off now 3 consecutive wins. They beat GHS 2 weeks ago, they beat Clay last week, and they beat Ridgeview today. Huge win for the Broncos. Speaking of GHS makes a travel to St. Johns County to take on the St. Augustine Yellow Jackets. And GHS, after a long drive across the way, they come back home to Gainesville happier with a 17-14 win as they continue to make their push for the playoffs. Let's see something here. Continue on with Class 1A action. The Williston Red Devils looking to get their first victory on the year, and they do get it at the hands of the Cottondale Hornets, making an almost 2-hour trip. Actually, a little further, about almost 3.5 hours to Cottondale, Florida, to take on the Cottondale Hornets and the Red Devils of Williston, Florida, with a huge win. Their first win of 2021. Congratulations to Williston getting their first win of the year. Trenton, who's another disappointing team in Class 1A, they hosted the Liberty County Bulldogs. Liberty County who's making another strong push in the 1A playoff. They knock off Trenton 31-14. A very disappointing year for the Tigers of Trenton. They fall by 17. Let's go to some more action across the state. Class 1A action. Rivals between the Union County Tigers, who's ranked number 3 in Class 1A, taking on the 10th ranked Newberry Panthers. The Panthers had the upper hand on the Tigers last 2 seasons, beating them both in both games. Union County coming in with a lot of hostility, knowing that this game is probably the last toughest game or last challenge of the season before playoffs, and they want to have a good outing. And they did good early. They jumped out to a 21-0 lead early on in the first half, and they never looked back. The game got as close as 21-7, but Lake Butler ended up winning in 3 quarters, 45-13. So let's talk about that game. Lake Butler and Newberry. Newberry came in with a 2-game winning streak in the series. Lake Butler looking to end that losing streak to the Panthers, and a lot went down in tonight's game. A lot of flags being thrown. It's a chippy rivalry game between two teams, separated by no more than 45 minutes from each other. They don't like each other. Some of the coaches actually played against each other in high school. Some of them coached against each other. So a lot of animosity between the two schools. And in the third quarter, with 11 seconds left, after two unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, one of the Newberry assistants got into a fist fight with the referee, and the game was called 11 seconds to go. In my years, either playing high school sports or even watching high school sports, I've never seen a game ended in the third quarter the way that game did. So Union County did win. They didn't have to play the fourth quarter, and they still won 45-13. So Lake Butler next week will hopefully take on Cocoa Beach. If not, they'll prepare to see their fate, to see where they're going to be at in the Class 1A playoffs. And with Hilliard losing tonight, it's a possibility that Lake Butler could be a 2 seed in their first round in the playoffs. So congratulations to Lake Butler. They're on the verge of having their first undefeated regular season in quite some time. So congratulations to Coach Andrew Thomas and the Lake Butler Tigers. Newberry, on the other hand, that hurt them in the playoff standings. It could be a possibility that the rest of the season could be forfeited after the actions of two of their coaches. The police was involved, and FHSSA officials called the game with 11 seconds left in the third quarter. Very disappointing for Newberry as they fall their second consecutive game. Let's go to some more action across the state. Palaca coming off a tough loss last week at the hands of Eastside. They lose again at the hands of Mendez Falcons from St. Augustine. They lose 28-24. A few more games a few more games across the county. Let's see if we can find any more. I think that's it for all the high school sports in the area. A lot of good football that was done this week in the state of Florida. A lot of teams turning some heads as the playoff push is coming. Playoffs start in about 2 weeks. So hopefully next week we will have the official FHSAA classification playoff brackets. Hopefully either on their website at fhsaa.gov or the Max Preps website, where I will hopefully screenshot it and post them on my channel. So hopefully we'll see where some of these teams that are fighting for their lives in the playoffs, or some teams who are already solidified in the playoffs and trying to get a good seeding for hopefully a first round bye. Class 1A is a very good classification to watch. 3 teams left undefeated in the classification after Hilliard lost this past Friday to Bluntstown. We'll see where Chiefland and Lake Butler be at in their regions after Hawthorne looks like they're going to be a number 1 seed in their region. So we're waiting on the fate of Chiefland and Lake Butler as the other 2 of the 3 unbeaten in Class 1A. Let's talk about some college football today. A lot of college football. This is actually a very interesting week. We have the most top 25 matchups we have all season this week, and a lot of good games, including the beatdown in the world's largest cocktail party. My Florida Gators come in 4-3 after part their worst loss of the year. Even the Kentucky game was bad, but the LSU game we had last 2 weeks ago was by the worst game in Dan Mullen's career. Even both Kentucky losses he had in his career so far against the Wildcats does not amount to how LSU ran up and down our throats for over 300 yards, 287 by one person. I mean, 14 counter OT plays was successful in that Gator defense. A lot of people point the finger at Todd Grantham why he hasn't been terminated or let on relieve his duties as a defensive coordinator. We thought through before the LSU game we had a Gator defense was bad. We had some great numbers across the board. We was top 10 in the nation in all statistical categories, even top 5 in the SEC in all statistical categories. And we came to Baton Rouge and overlooked LSU. And he couldn't stop the run for nothing. Max Johnson did what he had to do 2 weeks ago against us. And that running back for LSU, man, he made us look like a JV team. I've never seen a Florida Gator team get rained on like that by one person since I've been a Gator fan. I mean, 36 carries for 287 yards, and I think 4 touchdowns. That is absurd. Heisman NCAA 14 numbers. I mean, that is ridiculous. So coming to a game that we're not even having a chance to win is tough, especially with a quarterback controversy that we've been dealing with all year long. Emory Jones can have a great game like he did against Alabama and Tennessee, but come in to like a game like LSU and stick up the joint. You know, both quarterbacks had some good plays. They made some great reads, but also made some bad plays. And Dan Mullen decided to go today with Anthony Richardson's giving his first career collegiate start against the number one team in the country. Not only number one team in the country, but the number one defense in the country. And they are number one in every statistical defensive category you can think of. And you put in a redshirt freshman in that game. I think that was a bad decision, and it showed early on that Florida did keep it close through most of the first quarter, and then it got to the second quarter. That's when Georgia put the foot on the gas, and we went from being now 3-0 in the first quarter to now I believe 24-0 at halftime. So it was ugly for at least to say it was two picks thrown by Anthony Richardson. One went for a touchdown, another was set up for another touchdown. We did run the football quite well. We ran for the most yards that Georgia gave up all year for 161 yards. Ran the football very well, but throwing the football, we wasn't consistent at all for most of the day. Anthony Richardson got pulled out the game for Emory Jones. Emory Jones looked pretty solid. He went 10 for 14 for like a buck 20. He didn't turn the football over, but it comes down to experience when you face a defense like Georgia. When you face a defense like the Georgia Bulldogs, you got to have an experienced quarterback that can go in, that can make plays, not only with his arms and legs, but he got to make the right plays. And I don't think, don't get me wrong, English got a huge upside. I mean, a huge, great future for on his shoulders for the Gators. But in that game, you got to go to experienced man. You know, as much as fans don't want him to play, as a coach, you got to make a decision to put the best man for the job, and that had to be Emory Jones because he's experienced tough defenses like that in his career. Not, he didn't start against defenses like that. He played against defenses like that. So not taking my head off to Anthony Richardson for going in there and giving his best shot, but games like this, you got to bring in your most experienced guy. Emory Jones should have started this game. But it was a tough loss for the Gators. They fall to 4-4. That is a second consecutive loss in 2 of their last 3 games. Florida next week, I believe, they take on South Carolina. Hopefully, that's a game we should win. That game is in Columbia. I think it's a 7:30 kickoff. Hopefully, we get back on our high horse and hopefully get bowl eligible. We still got Florida State left for the schedule. They've been looking good. They won 3 of the last 4 games despite losing Clemson today in a very tough game. We still got Vanderbilt. Well, we're not Vanderbilt, but we still got South Carolina. We still got an FCS school we got to take on later this year. And then you got Florida State. So it's been a tough year for Dan Mullen. A lot of people say they want his job, but Dan Mullen, for one, he needs to take more accountability for Florida's losses. You can't blame nobody else but you. You didn't fire but you didn't fire Todd Grantham after the LSU game. You did make the right decision at quarterback today. I mean, it's been a tough mess the last 3 weeks. Dan Mullen got to get some kind of urgency. He has to take a lot of accountability for his decision in coaching errors he made in the last 3 weeks. But I believe Dan Mullen don't deserve to be fired. And I believe the 5 years he's been at Florida, he has a record of 33-13. I mean, he has better records than Jim McElwain, uh, Will Muschamp. So he has a lot of better records than some of these other Florida coaches that had either same tenure as him or got him a lot more than he did, and they didn't fire him right away. So Dan Mullen's probably the best coach we had since Urban Meyer. He was actually the assistant to Urban Meyer. So I think we need to, give another season. I understand COVID last year. We lost a lot of players. We still went 8-4. We got to the SEC championship game for the first time in his coaching tenure at Florida. So after coming off the SEC championship appearance last year, we lost a lot of pieces offensively this year, especially Kyle Pitts, Kadarius Toney, Trayvon Grimes, who I think he should have stayed another year because he wasn't ready for the NFL yet. Even Kyle Trask left. So, we're dealing with, instead of just throwing the football all the time, we're dealing with now more of the quarterback run system we didn't have last year. And it's an adjustment. I think this offseason we need to have an open quarterback competition between Emory and Anthony Richardson and may the best man win. They'll need to be quit flip flopping that quarterback because, that's what happened with Georgia. Georgia did the right thing by starting Stetson Bennett, even though he threw 2 picks. Stetson Bennett is the best thing option right now, quarterback. But Stetson Bennett can afford to mess up because Stetson Bennett mess up. JT Daniels is more than ready to come in and take over that team. But hats off to Kirby Smart. He made the right decision at quarterback, started Stetson Bennett. And for the most part, he did his job. Had 2 turnovers. They was already up 27-0, so he didn't have to do too much. Georgia is going to be a factor in the national championship. They don't know who they're going to play. I don't think Alabama is ready for that type of defense. At times, they struggled against a lot of teams. Tennessee, they had to pull away from that in the fourth quarter. Florida, they survived that game, and then they lost to A&M. So this is probably a real big test that Nick Saban, for the first time in a long time, he's not the favorite to win the SEC championship this year. So all avenues, not only for the SEC championship, but the national championship, all runs through Athens, Georgia, and the Georgia Bulldogs. I don't see nobody right now could really put points on that Georgia defense. So hats off to them. For us right now, we're just trying to fight to be bowl eligible. We're 4-4 now. We got the same amount of losses we had last year. Last year we 8-4. We're not going to a near six bowl. That's off the boards. We're looking to get to a solid bowl game. We got to win at least 2 of our last 4 games to be bowl eligible. I think we'll probably finish the regular season at least at no worse than 7-5. I think it's a possibility we could lose to Florida State. Based on how our defense been inconsistent, our offense inconsistent. I think Dan Mullen needs to just commit to one quarterback and one quarterback the rest of the year. And then next season, they should focus on the quarterback competition, and whoever wins that quarterback competition needs to be the starting QB. Just flip it back and forth, this, that, and third. Start Emory for 3 possessions, then bring Anthony Richardson. It's not good. It's not healthy for a football team. The offense will know who their starting quarterback is. And the offense will know who they rely on as their leader. So that's very tough as a head coach that you're constantly always starting one quarterback here, then pulling them out, and starting him here and pulling them out, and it's not good football. It's not good for a team that's not 4-4 and they have no identity at quarterback. So that's something I think they should do. If I was Dan Mullen, I would just stick with Emory Jones the rest of the year. And then if he goes to the point of no return, just bench him for the rest of the season. Let AR-15 just continue the rest of the year out. That's what you need to do. Go with a quarterback and stick with him. Don't keep pulling him in out, pull him in, pull him out, pull him in, pull him out. So that's my thoughts on the Florida Georgia game. Congratulations, Georgia. They redeemed us after they lost last year. So congratulations to the Bulldogs. A big win today in Jacksonville. Let's go over a couple of games that happened in college football today. FAMU homecoming happened today. The Florida A&M Rattlers coming off their best 7 game start in quite a time. It's their first ever meeting in the SWAC against Grambling State, and FAMU from a packed house today at Bragg Stadium. They went 26-3 to go to 62 overall and 4-1 in the SWAC. A huge win for FAMU in front of a packed house on homecoming. Can FAMU win the SWAC? We don't know, but they looking really good. 4-1 is a good start for FAMU this year. In the SWAC. Huge win today for the Rattlers. Let's go back to some top 25 action in college football. Upset happened in the Big Ten today. At the heels of Iowa. Iowa lost last week to Purdue. A very ugly loss for the Hawkeyes, and they lose again. Another back-to-back Big Ten games at the heels of Wisconsin, who started the year 1-3. They ran off four consecutive wins, including a win today against Iowa. They went 27-7. And for after start off 1-3, they have a chance to get to Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship game. But they have to win out and get some help. But a win-win for Wisconsin today at Camp Randall Stadium. Battle of Beats for the first time since 2010. Michigan versus Michigan State took place in East Lansing, and the Spartans off 4 touchdowns by, in my opinion, the best running back in the country and my favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. That running back from Michigan State is a beast. He's a transfer from Wake Forest. Just picture how good Wake Forest is this year if he would have stayed at Wake Forest. So we'll talk about Wake Forest in a few minutes. But Michigan State holds off Michigan 37-33, knocking off Coach Harbaugh's crew. Can't take nothing away from Coach Harbaugh. This is a great bounce back year for his team so far. After coming from a losing season last year, they're actually still a top 10 team in my eyes, despite the loss to Michigan State. Congratulations to Michigan State with a huge victory at home today. Cincinnati remains unbeaten, 31-12 over Tulane. Over some more games that's already ended. Texas took off a tough loss today, and it has a Baylor 31-24. The Baylor Bears remain a player in the Big 12 championship. Miami come off a huge win last week against NC State, their first ranked win of the year. A lot of people talk about Manny Diaz deserving to lose his job. He saved his job last week against NC State, but a win against Pittsburgh today solidified he can keep his job for another year. And he got it done today. Without his senior quarterback, Derek King's out for the year, Van Dyke looked really good. In my opinion, he's the more polished quarterback of the two. They went 38-34 in a shootout with the Panthers. Big win for Coach Manny Diaz and the Hurricanes. Iowa State, another team that's upsetting today. West Virginia's second win this year against ranked opponents. You know, the Virginia Tech earlier on this year. Brock Purdy and Iowa State took another tumbling step in their quest to get back to the Big 12 championship game. They took a hit today against the Mountaineers. 38-31, West Virginia winners. Oklahoma will play their first complete game of the year. From start to finish, both sides of football look very good today. Caleb Williams ties Landry Jones and I believe Kyler Murray for second all time in most touchdown passes in the game. They all threw for 6. The record is held by Baker Mayfield. He threw for 7 against his former team, Texas Tech, in 2016. Oklahoma, a huge win. Their first true complete game of the year. And in my opinion, Spencer Rattler days are done in Oklahoma. Caleb Williams looks like he's a better quarterback. He's only a true freshman. So Lincoln Riley got something brewing over there in that Williams kid at quarterback. Oregon, big win today, 52-29 over the Colorado Buffaloes. Wake Forest, proving to me right now, they're the only team the ACC has a chance to make the playoffs. They're keeping hope alive with a big win, 45-7 Duke. Wake Forest is a sleeper to get to the playoffs, but like a guaranteed pick for a New Year's Six Bowl. Congratulations to Wake Forest. Auburn, the Auburn Tigers, who've been up and down all year. They took a tough loss to Penn State, but they got a big win against LSU. But they lost they got killed by Georgia, and they bounced back last 2 weeks against two top 15 opponents. Won at Arkansas last week, and they got one this time over Lane Kiffin and Matt Corral and the Ole Miss Rebels. Auburn win 31-20. Huge win for the 18th ranked Tigers. They go to 6-2 on the year with a huge win. Kentucky, the Cinderella team from the SEC, opened up the season 6-0. They took including wins against Florida, tough loss against Georgia 2 weeks ago, and they came into Starkville looking to keep their hopes alive for a spot in their first SEC championship game since the Tim Couch era. But Kentucky's chance at the SEC championship bid is over at the hands of Mike Leach and the air raid of Mississippi State. Their second-ranked winner of the year after knocking off Texas A&M earlier this year. Mike Leach is doing an amazing job over there, beating ranked opponents in the SEC West. Thought that offense wouldn't work in the SEC, but it's looking pretty promising. 2 wins against ranked opponents, and with that win, Kentucky's officially out of contention for the SEC East. With the win against Florida, Georgia will be going to Atlanta for the SEC championship game, representing the SEC East. The question is, who will represent the SEC West? A&M still has a fighting chance. Auburn still got to play Alabama in the year. Alabama got one loss, so the Alabama-Auburn game is going to pay big dividends going down the line between those two teams. Oklahoma State huge win, 56-3 over Kansas. SMU took a tumble today. The undefeated season goes out the window. At the hands of division conference rival Houston, they win 44-37 in a shootout down there in Houston. Big win for the Cougs. Notre Dame survives. Tough North Carolina team. Sam Howell did all he could do. But that Notre Dame defense held off Sam Howell 44-34. The Fighting Irish with a big win at home. And Coastal Carolina survived a tough upset bid for 2 weeks in a row. They survived this with 35-28 over the Troy Trojans. So we still got some more games left in college football that's still going on right now. Penn State and Ohio State still playing. But it looks like a minute 41 left. Ohio State has a 9-point lead over Penn State. But Penn State is inside the Ohio State 30-yard line. We'll see how the game goes. I'll give you a final score of that on Monday's video after Monday Night Football. BYU hosting Virginia, coming off a tough loss against Baylor a couple weeks ago. BYU with a 28-14 lead over the Cavs. And San Diego State hosting Fresno State. And the Aztecs in trouble. They're down 14 after early to the Bulldogs of Fresno State. So that's it for all the high school and college sports we have for today. Thank everybody for tuning in, who watched the video today. And if you like this video and many more, like and subscribe my YouTube channel. And go to my Facebook channel. It's called Whoop and Company. Follow, like, and subscribe to that channel and continue to make more videos. I've got some more equipment. I just got me a green screen that came in. That I got actually the other day from Five Below. Here it is right here. I just gotta get the software to get up and running. They even gave me some clothespins. So I gotta get me a clothesline and put it up somewhere where I can start doing some more videos. Y'all just bear with me. It will get up and running soon. Glad I got one. I gotta get me a ring light so I can get better lighting on the videos. A simple light in the bedroom. So we're moving up. I got a first video using a tripod. Pretty excited about that. Basically look more professional. I just sitting up. You know, I have to worry about, it leaning and all that stuff. It's on a nice little tripod. Pretty excited. The future of this channel is going, and we're gonna keep being great. Sorry for the long delay. We're gonna keep doing more videos. We'll have another video from the NFL action on Monday night after the Monday Night Football game of the week. So thanks for everybody watching, and y'all stay safe, stay blessed, and stay home.